It's a pleasure to introduce my student, Dr. Varsha G. Balamgi. She is from Prabha Eye Clinic at Bangalore. And she really works hard, and she has been doing a lot of clinical and research work with Dr. Gauri Murthy, and a very promising young glaucoma specialist in the making. And she's going to present her excellent case, and the title as Free Fall. So let us see what she has to present today. Over to you, Varsha.
Yeah, Varsha, you can start your presentation, and we'll be introducing our teamed panelists once they take over after the case is over. Yeah, over to you, Dr. Varsha.
You are muted, Varsha.
Sorry. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Feiruz ma'am, for that kind introduction. I would like to thank AIOS Scientific Committee for this opportunity, and also Gauri ma'am for believing in me to do this presentation. I'd like to start my presentation. Hello, Digna. Share. Hello.
Varsha?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm sharing
share
the
screen. Yeah.
Yes.
Press that share screen green
Yes,
arrow. Yeah. You have opened your PPT already?
Yes, ma'am. I've already opened the
Yeah.
PPT.
So, yeah. Do you want to share screen?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sharing the screen right now, ma'am.
All right.
Don't worry, Varsha, it happens to all of us.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
let's relax. It's
Just
okay.
relax.
It still happens.
Just relax.
Calmly do it, Varsha.
Yes, ma'am.
What is happening, Varsha? Did you click on the share screen button there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm doing it from my iPad, ma'am.
Okay.
It's there below. It's when you come down, it's a green button.
Yes, ma'am.
Click on that green button, and click on your presentation, and then click on share.
Yes, sir. One second.
Do we have the technical people here with us?
Sharik, can you help her?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Can you please pitch in? Yeah.
Please help, Dr. Varsha.
Are my slides visible now, ma'am?
No, dear.
Not yet.
When you're sharing the presentation from iPad, now when you start sharing, your video will automatically off. So you don't worry about your video, because when you're sharing, so when you're sharing your presentation, just share your presentation, because ma'am is actually focusing. I guess his video is actually getting off once you share. So it is a feature of Zoom actually. Now it's started sharing.
Yeah.
Now it's started, sir.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Sharik.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Go ahead,
sir.
Varsha.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My topic for today's presentation is free fall. A 36-year-old gentleman presented to us this year on 28th August with complaints of left eye pain since 2 days. His best corrected visual acuity was 6/36 parts. His intraocular pressure was 8 millimeters of mercury. This was his anterior segment picture, showing the free fall of the AGV tube into the anterior chamber. Let's walk back into his past. When for some reason the slides are not visible, I'll just tell his past history. This patient has sustained a left eye penetrating injury in 2009, for which he underwent surgery. He also underwent silicone oil injection, which was removed after 5 months. In spite of that, he still developed secondary silicone oil induced glaucoma, and Ahmed glaucoma valve implantation was planned. On his post-op day 1 after glaucoma valve implantation, his best corrected visual acuity was 6/36 and his intraocular pressure was 10 millimeters of mercury. Now his intraocular pressure trend was as follows. He maintained his intraocular pressure between 10 to 15 millimeters of mercury, and with in 2011 he showed one intraocular pressure spike which was managed with 0.5% timolol maleate. This slide is showing the movement of AGV tube. This shows that the AGV tube is jutting in and out of the anterior chamber with his lid movement. In 2019, we showed his cornea showed central corneal cuttae. In 2020, we saw that the tube had shifted further into the anterior chamber. And in 2021, he presented with the free fall of the AGV tube into the anterior chamber. We managed surgically by removing the AGV tube. It's not playing. After thorough literature review, there was only one reported case of the dynamic tube movement of AGV valve. In this patient, in this case, this patient also had undergone vitrectomy, and they proposed that since the vitrectomized eye is softer and more prone for indentation, that could be the cause for the dynamic tube movement. Hypothesis for the tube movement. First, we feel if a larger needle track is used for track formation, that could be one of the reason for AGV tube movement. Or if the AGV plate is improperly anchored to the sclera, these two hypotheses are plausible in the early postoperative period. Also, if the tube is sinuous.
1 minute remaining.
And also if the tube is sinuous, that could also cause the dynamic tube movement. Now, what led to the free fall? In his recent follow-up, we saw that the encircling band had moved anteriorly, which could have caused the AGV tube to get detached from its plate and led to the free fall. With that, I conclude my presentation.
I think that.
I'm sorry, the videos could not be played. I'll try once again, ma'am.
Go ahead, Varsha.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have the video separate in your iPad? Not in the presentation?
It was playing, ma'am. It was playing actually.
It's okay. Varsha, it is okay, ma. Not to worry. Just
Okay,
to say that first we noticed tube movement in 2013. The surgery was done in 2009 and the tube movement was noticed in 2013. And this free fall occurred in 2021.
2021, yes, ma'am.
2021. So that was the timeline. And this anterior migration of the encircling band might have led to the tube because it pulls the tube along with it. The tube is over the band. So that might have led to the tube being detached from the plate, and maybe that is responsible for the free fall. These are just hypotheses. I hand over.
Yeah, I'll invite Dr. Parikshit to please introduce our discussant, Dr. Harsh Kumar. Dr. Parikshit, are you there?
Yes, sir. Very much,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, would you share Dr. Harsh's slides, sir?
Yeah, I've done that. Is the slide visible?
No, sir.
No, it's not shared, Dr. Bala.
It's not shared, sir.
I think, Bala, we can skip that.
Is it
No,
there?
sir. I can see Dr. Harsh's slide, and yes, Dr.
Yes.
Harsh needs no introduction as the gold medalist from RP Center and formerly additional professor of glaucoma at the prestigious AIIMS. He has been the president of the Glaucoma Society of India and has more than 70 publications and all on glaucoma. So thank you, Dr. Harsh, sir, for joining for the AIOS Scientific Committee's webinar. Please give your comments, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhala and AIS Scientific Committee for having me here. And at the outset, Varsha, are you there?
Yeah, Varsha, she's muted.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Varsha.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
I must say I'm proud of you. Despite the fact that the slides were stuck and you were in a jam, you did very, very well. I
Thank
think
you, sir.
that is really, really nice. Many of us will really have a big problem if things like that happen. And
Yes, sir.
being a first presentation, I think that was really wonderful that you went through it like that. Very, very good. Okay, so
Yeah.
as far as the case part is concerned, yes, once you have done enough valves, you will see every kind of a problem over here. And definitely, so for what Lalit initially said, that let's go to the messages directly, because I think the case is very clear cut. And yes, the possibility is that the sutures got loose because it was done by such a wonderful person. There's no way that it could have not been done accurately. There's no way. So what has happened is that possibly yes, because once there are repeated surgeries and things like that, and the sutures just get loose, and especially if it is a vitrectomized eye, then the eye is soft and there is too much of the movement of the complex, and then it can actually first move, and later once it's moving, then the things get actually detached from there, and the tube can become prolonged. In the kids, it's the opposite, because the fibrous capsule is thick, so it can get retracted. So, but in the adults, this is what happens usually. So the message for the people who are actually doing the tube is that you have to be very, very careful while you are tightening the tube to the sclera. Obviously, you don't want to puncture the sclera, but go into nicely deep over there so that the sutures are well maintained. And currently what we are actually doing is we are going through a long passage through the sclera now, and then putting the tube that we were not doing before. We are just currently moved into that kind of thing, so that the tighter the tube is in the sclera, the chances of any movement later will be much, much less. Another
Okay,
very important thing is that what you have to tell the people is, what they do is many a times they keep squeezing, or they'll rub the eye, or they will lie prone and then squeeze. So all these things will actually cause a movement of the tube. Plus, it will also, if the tube is long, it will touch the cornea. So we have to be careful about that. Tip for all the doctors who are actually not doing the valves but actually seeing the valves is that yes, please, whenever you are seeing a valve, not only see the corneal part of the tube but see the conjunctival area also. Many a times the conjunctiva is exposed, and by the time the patient realizes, he already is having an endophthalmitis, and then we have hell to pay. Another important thing is, if we already have a vitrectomized eye, sometimes like I and Prateek was saying, that one can just put the tube into the posterior chamber.
posterior chamber.
I'm really surprised that you are at the place where the most, I always refer the patients for endocyclophotocoagulation. So I was wondering why endocyclophotocoagulation was not tried instead of putting in a tube. So maybe Gauri would tell us that. And I think these are the, yeah.
The both, I mean, this was a silicone oil induced glaucoma, and a tube is the first option, so destructive surgery comes later.
Right, fair enough, fair enough. So why didn't you put it into the posterior chamber?
So tube was first, and it worked for actually, as you mentioned, but this was very long back, and we did put it in the anterior chamber at that point of time.
Fair
If
enough.
I did the surgery now, I would have put it in the posterior chamber.
Okay, great. Okay, so just the messages are, I think, are quite clear, that if the tube is in the anterior chamber, if the patient is having an angle closure which can become progressive, or a NVG which can keep closing, or a ICE, all these can push the tube anteriorly, not into the chamber, but anteriorly towards the cornea. So one has to be very, very careful in follow-up of these. And like we said, tell the patient not to rub, not to squeeze, not to lie back on that. I think we can go ahead with Sushma.
I think I'll invite Dr. Sushma.
Yeah, I agree. Dr. Harsh has clearly explained what all precautions we should take. And I understand that a lot of times we do anterior chamber tubes, and in the past, much more we used to do anterior chamber tubes. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
please. I just wanted to introduce you as a panelist. You, Dr. Sushma is fulfilling dual role today, not only as speaker, but also as panelist. And we all know Dr. Sushma Tejwani is one of the leading glaucomatologists. She is consultant and head at Narayan Nethralaya. She did her long-term fellowship from LVPI and also short-term fellowship from Mayo Clinic, Rochester. And she is also PhD scholar from VIT Vellore. Yeah, please. Sorry for interruption, Dr. Sushma. Please go ahead with your comments.
Yeah, no problem. So what I was saying is that particularly when you have patients who have buccal or have undergone multiple surgeries, as Dr. Harsh rightly said, that their surface is also pretty compromised. So chances of extrusion as well as movement of the whole complex and the valve are pretty high. So these patients have to be particularly told not to avoid rubbing or pressure in the eye, or sometimes you have to even tell them to wear protective glasses all the time so that minimal trauma or any trigger may incite a rubbing of the eye. So that's very, very important. And in such difficult cases, these things can happen in valves that the tube gets detached. I was also wondering if other panelists will share their opinion that when you have a buccal, within the same capsule, if you can just put the tube rather than having the whole valve, does it work better than putting the whole shunt? Although I have not done much of that. But
I think Dr. Ramaji did a lot of these cases when I was a senior resident, and they didn't work out long term. Dr.
Okay.
Ramanjit, are you there right now? I think she's gone.
Ma'am
But
is
she
left,
did a
I
couple
think.
of.
I think ma'am has left. Ma'am has.
She did a lot of cases, and we saw that they worked for some time and then they failed. So
Okay.
that was finally given up.
Yes. So Varsha, very nicely done job, as Dr. Harsh said, for the first time when you're presenting, and such hitches do happen with all of us. So don't worry about that.
Yes.
And nicely managed, Dr. Gauri. Interesting free fall. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.